Hello, I'm Holly Sexton, Public Relations and Financial Education Professional at Abound Credit Union and a Certified Credit Union Financial Counselor. Welcome to Virtually Well. It's a partnership between Baptist Health Hardin and Abound, and today we're excited to welcome Chief People Officer at Abound, Jill Krimm. Jill is a subject matter expert on saving money on health insurance and more. She's also a SHRM Senior Certified Professional and a Senior Professional in Human Resources. And she's coached me on making smart financial choices when it comes to healthcare. I'm so happy to have Jill here today to provide us with some tips. So welcome, Jill. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks for having me today.
So we're going to go.
Happy to be here.
Oh, happy to have you. So let's do these pretty quickly. When it comes to saving money on healthcare, we have a lot to share. And one of those is choosing to visit an urgent care center rather than the emergency room. So Jill, why is urgent care a better fit in most situations?
So urgent cares are perfect for most non-emergency situations. They're also ideal if something happens, which is outside of, say, normal business hours of 9 to 5. You should visit an urgent care for things such as minor fractures, x-ray, if you have back pain, nausea, vomiting, minor headaches, any blood work, bumps, cuts, and scrapes. Urgent care centers have shorter wait times generally and are less expensive than emergency room. And then walk-ins are also welcome at these urgent care centers. And I've actually seen situations where people have maybe chosen to go to an emergency room and insurance has maybe denied that claim because they said that they should have actually gone to an urgent care instead.
So there's lots of good reasons, especially financial reasons, to pick an urgent care center over an emergency room. Tip number 2 is shopping around for insurance. And Jill, you were a huge help with me earlier this year because shopping for insurance can be intimidating. So what do people need to know?
So most people with health insurance will typically get that through their employer. And if you're one of those people, then you won't need to really use any government exchange insurance or marketplace. Your company is essentially your marketplace. But if your job doesn't have health insurance, then you can visit the healthcare.gov, which is a shopping and enrollment service for medical insurance, which is created by the Affordable Care Act of 2010. When you log on to that site, you'll enter your zip code. And from there, you'll be sent to your state's exchange if there is one. Otherwise, you'll use a federal marketplace. You can also purchase health insurance through a private exchange or through directly from an insurer. But if you choose any of those options, then you won't be eligible for premium tax credits, which are income-based, and they are discounts that are offered on monthly premiums and are only available through the marketplace.
And that's a lot to unpack. So thank you for giving us the overview there. And I would highly suggest, like in our case, reaching out to an HR leader in someone's company. You know, you were able to provide me with lots of information and education that helped me make better decisions. So moving on to shopping, tip number 3 is comparison shopping when choosing where to have a test or procedure. And I have to say, Jill, you and your team do a great job at this because sometimes I'll be at the credit union and I'll go into a restroom and on the back of the door, I'll see something about comparison shopping. And it's something that I never think of, but we think about comparing when it comes to buying a television or picking something in retail, but we don't often think about it when it comes to healthcare. So can you give us some information on comparison shopping with testing and procedures?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, people very rarely think that they can even comparison shop when it comes to any test or procedures that they may have done. When a doctor recommends that you need a test, people will typically go wherever the doctor tells them to go. Some of the common tests and procedures like ultrasounds, MRIs, any arthroscopic surgeries are actually the most shoppable. You can actually talk to your health insurance company or talk to your health provider about comparison shopping. Where else can you go to have that MRI done? Or where else can you go to have that ultrasound done? This will give you a much clearer understanding of how much insurance will cover and how much you may have to pay out of your pocket. And if you don't have insurance, then research healthcare providers and call and speak to their billing department. And their billing department can help you set up a plan to make payments for things. And there is also payment aid available, which can help significantly reduce the cost of things. In some situations, insurance carriers will actually reach out to their subscribers if they are set up and asking for a pre-authorization for a test, to let them know that maybe doing this at the hospital is going to be a little more expensive than doing it at a diagnostic imaging place, say, for example. So a lot of times the insurance companies will reach out to kind of help you do that shop comparison.
That's true, because it benefits them as well. So that's a really good point. And I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions. And when someone talks to those people, they know the ins and the outs, and they know industry standards and typically across the board what things cost. So they can be a huge asset. That's great, Jill. So number 4, stay on top of health and preventative care benefits. Sometimes it's hard to even get an appointment to get a haircut and take care of those basic things, but staying on top of preventative care. Why is that important, Jill?
Because regular checkups and exams can help you stay healthy, and it can also catch problems earlier when they're a lot easier and probably a little cheaper to treat. Preventive care services and immunizations are covered by your insurance at 100% with no cost share to you as a policyholder. So do your preventive care. Absolutely. Get your blood pressure checked, get your cholesterol levels checked. Ladies, get your mammograms and get your pap smear done. Men, get those prostate exams done. It's very, very important. And everybody should have regular dental exams and regular eye exams because problems with your eyes and or your teeth can actually lead to more serious health issues later and down the road. And so also those immunizations, get those immunizations. They are simple, safe, and effective, and they can help protect you against harmful diseases.
And tip number 5 is investing in an HSA or a health savings account. If someone's eligible to invest in an HSA, what are some of the benefits and reasons to do that, Jill?
So an HSA account is actually, it allows you to set aside money to pay for qualified medical expenses. If you must have a high deductible health plan, which is also referred to sometimes as an HDHP plan or an HDHP, to be eligible to contribute to an HSA. So for 2021 and 2022, the minimum deductible amount for an HSA eligibility is $1,400 for an individual and $2,800 for a family. You can use the money in your HSA to pay towards that deductible that you're going to have or to cover any out-of-pocket expenses. HSAs also offer triple tax savings. So they are pre-tax or tax-deductible contributions. They are tax-free interest in investment earnings, and they are tax-free distributions when they are used for qualified medical expenses. Also with an HSA, which is different than a flexible spending account, that account is always yours. It always belongs to you. You have full ownership of that account, and it's portable. So there's no use it or lose it rule that apply to an HSA. All amounts in your HSA are fully vested, and any unspent accounts will remain there until you spend them.
Jill, you mentioned HDHP, and that brings us to tip number 5, which is a high deductible plan. And HDHP has pros and cons. So Jill, what are some advantages of HDHPs or high deductible plans?
So some of those advantages would be that you would pay a lower premium than you would, say, with a POS plan or a PPO plan. And those are typically the plans that people are most familiar with. Those are your traditional type copay plans with lower deductibles. Net networks aren't really narrowed with an HDHP plan as they would be, say, with an HMO. People have also probably heard about an HMO. People who rarely use their health benefits will save money on an HDHP. And they can also, again, take those tax advantages and make those deposits to an HSA. And then you also, again, have the ability to roll over any unspent money, which that, of course, can be very appealing. Maybe they aren't always the best choice for everyone, and especially if you feel like you're going to have significant healthcare costs in the coming year. You know, who's a good candidate for a high deductible healthcare plan? And again, that would be someone that has probably fewer medical expenses. The average American typically spends less than $500 a year in medical care. That would be going to the doctor for any diagnostic treatment. Of course, those preventive services, as we said earlier, are covered at 100% all the time. When I think about our plans at Abound, I think about the fact that our out-of-pocket maximum is higher on, say, our PPO plan than our HDHP plan. So if you have a lot of claims, in that case, the HDHP plan is usually the best plan for you. So again, all of that can be very, very confusing. And then there's a lot to think about. Prescription drugs, if you're taking a high cost monthly prescription maintenance medicine, then you'll want to check with your pharmacy, because if the cost of that is pretty expensive, then you may be better off with a PPO where you'll just make copays up front.
And speaking of paying for expenses, there are lots of cards out there you can pick up when you're in your general practitioner's office or nurse practitioner. One of them in particular is GoodRx, GOODRx.com. Jill, why is GoodRx a good connection or app to get information to save money?
So this is a free to use website or an app that tracks prescription drug prices in the US, and it will provide you with free drug coupons for discounts on medications. And so if you go to that app, you put your prescription in, it will tell you how much it's going to cost at your Walmart or Kroger or any other local pharmacy. It's based on your zip code. It may also offer coupons that you can actually take into your pharmacy. They can scan those and you will get discounts on some of those prescription drugs. Meaning, if you use the GoodRx app, normally it will not run through your health insurance. So kind of keep that in mind. But GoodRx actually does have better pricing, reduced at like 40% on over 100 of the most prescribed drugs.
As someone who counsels people financially at the credit union, sometimes we see people that have medical debt that really keeps them from reaching their financial goals. So Jill, do Abound Credit Union members have benefits that can help with medical debt?
Sure. You know, at Abound, we are always looking for ways that we can help our members. We, of course, do offer, as you mentioned, Holly, educational counseling to help address and how to deal with those mounting bills that you might have, or to also help you or assist you with creating a budgeting plan to help you pay off that medical debt. We also offer $1,000 of AD&D, which is accidental death and dismemberment insurance, on all of our checking accounts. And we have other options to buy more AD&D and life insurance at really good rates. Also, we offer recuperative health care, which is like hospital state insurance to our members. If your medical debt is beyond your means to pay, we may have other options available to you depending on your financial situation. Some of those could possibly be a lower rate credit card, a home equity loan, or even a personal loan. So if you have any questions or anything, please reach out to one of our member service representatives at any of our branches.
Thank you, Jill. And if you're watching and you're not a member, you can find out more information at aboundcu.com. And there's a list of branches. You can also communicate with us completely online, especially during the pandemic. We know that that's important for safety for people. We're happy to communicate that way as well. And we encourage you to get more information. We have free 5-minute modules that you can take on various financial wellness topics at aboundcu.com. All you need to do is click the Learn tab, LEARN, and that'll get you where you need to go. Jill, thanks so much for joining us. I know we could talk for hours more. You have so much knowledge about this, but I think your information is going to bring peace of mind to our viewers.
Well, thank you, Holly. I enjoyed it.
And thank you for joining us for Virtually Well. This is a service and partnership of financial wellness and wellness in general with our friends at Baptist Health Hardin and Abound Credit Union. We'll see you next time.